Welcome to the SMB Community Podcast with hosts Amy Babinchek, James Kernan, and Carl Polachek. Produced by Kernan Consulting and for the international MSP community. We are dedicated to making every IT professional a successful IT professional. This podcast is sponsored by the Kernan Consulting's Millionaire Mastermind Roadshow. Get the answers you need to grow your business guaranteed. This MSP Business Owner Conference is 2 full days of powerful information, instruction, and action to show you how to thrive in this troubled economy. Join us for an action-packed event in Scottsdale, Arizona on September 28th and 29th, and enjoy golf, casino, and the spa experience at the lavish Talking Stick Resort. More information in the show notes. All right, everybody, welcome back to the SMB Community Podcast. It's James Kernan with Kernan Consulting, and I am pleased to bring these 3 amigos into today's show. We've got some cool guys, some industry veterans. I'm going to let them just introduce themselves real quick, but we've got everybody's best friend in the industry, Alex Farling. We've got Wes Spencer, and we've got Kyle Christensen. All right. Hey, welcome, guys. So I've got my hands full today because it's like herding cats. I've got 3 super smart guys, very busy guys, type A personalities. But I was really excited to get them on the program and talk about their next chapter of what's happening. So let's kind of dive into things. So Alex, I'll call on you first. What are you guys up to?
Yeah. So we're solving big problems, right? That's that was the Lifecycle Insights mantra, and it continues here. So, when we talk to MSPs, they tell us that they hire the kid from the Apple Store or from Starbucks or wherever they get them, and upskilling their employees and really delivering the educational needs is a real struggle for them. So that's what we're aiming to take on at Empath. Wes kind of started it as Empath Cyber. But with bringing me and Kyle on, we're bringing on a way different skill set that is somewhat outside of cybersecurity and able to handle sales and account management and all of the operations stuff that Kyle is such a ninja at, and offer that full suite of training and education for every role at the MSP.
Awesome, exciting. So Kyle, I'll call on you next. So the company is called Empath, and the website's empathmsp.com for those of you who want to check it out. But what's the mission? What's the real goal of the company?
To make education accountable with integrity. The idea was that as a lot of MSPs are coming into play, the education that they're receiving is from a lot of downstream vendors that allows us to operate our tools correctly, right? It doesn't tell us why we're swinging the hammer. It doesn't tell us why we're helping a small business prosper that then downstreams protects the small businesses of the United States. So it's that economic engine that just allows everyone to win, from career growth to entrepreneurial growth.
Yep, exactly. Wes, do you want to chime in? What are your thoughts?
I'm glad both of them spoke before me because they really nailed it perfectly. But, I will just say, all 3 of us, at the end of the day, we found ourselves, we're educators at heart. And we've been in thousands and thousands upon thousands of conversations with MSPs, investing hours and hours and into helping them get better. And like, what better way? Sometimes things just fall in your lap. Sometimes the best of companies come about when you're just sitting here saying, I know there's a problem here. I've litmus tested this over and over and over and over, and I know there's something we can do here. And so with Empath, it's about that. Like, every time we talk with folks about this, our MSP friends, our vendor friends, they're like, I absolutely love what you're doing, and there's a huge need for this. How can we help? How can we get in? How can we connect? How can we work together? And nothing makes me happier, because we're not building just a platform, we're building a community that goes with it. And we're bringing a bunch of people together that say, yeah, we're going to go solve this. And there's an altruism to the whole thing, James, in the sense that when we get better as MSPs, our nation gets better. When we get better at finance and operations, and we understand how to build and scale a business, we're able to offer the capabilities that we can do at a much greater scale. When we get better at cybersecurity, we reduce cybercrime and all this loss funneling out to all of these adversarial nation states. That's life-changing. And so we're pumped about that. We're pumped about this opportunity. And that's what Empath is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, something Alex said, you're educators at heart. I've followed all three of you online and, obviously very intelligent, but you're sharing that knowledge with everybody, which I think is really important. So, Alex, why don't you elaborate a little bit more on the platform itself, the product, the service itself? It's, you and I had a couple conversations. It wasn't really till I went to the website and I started really reading. I was like, wow, it does a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, so right now it's in a pretty early proof of concept stage. We're hard at work under the scenes building what's going to release hopefully late December, early January with something that we can actually beta test with real MSPs and let some folks in to break things. But really, what the goal is behind the platform is the ability not only to deliver learning and education, so courses and lessons, but to take an employee and deliver them a roadmap, right? We hire somebody in an MSP and we forget to tell them that, hey, if you work hard and do the right things, you're promotable and you can go on to be something else. You don't just have to be the tier one meat shield that answers all the phone calls and takes all the screaming at for the rest of your life. There could be a career here. And so we forget to career path these people because we don't have tools that make it easy. So we're going to make career pathing a real thing in the MSP. We're also going to make accountability a real thing. So I hire Kyle out of Starbucks and he comes to work for me and he needs 50 hours worth of courses over the next 2 years. Well, that tells me that I got to do 25 hours of courses a year, 2 hours a month. I better dedicate some time on Kyle's calendar to education. And we're going to hold both the leadership accountable for making that time available and Kyle accountable for doing the work, right? And for clocking that time and using that time.
Yep.
So a lot of things we can do in a platform that are bigger than just playing a video and checking boxes in a quiz. And the platform is also going to include, of course, that community aspect where folks can come in and comment and learn from each other and really participate in what's going on there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So if people go up to the website, is there a call to action? Is there anything that you want them to do? Sign up for a demo, or it looks like there's a lot of education up there now.
Yeah, there is a Calendly, so people are just itching and they just can't wait, and they just like, I need to see this. Yeah, hit us up on the Calendly. We'd love to just connect with you and learn more about you, and then give you a tour of what we're building. But we're also in the middle of finishing the architect of doing finishing the platform. That'll be live Q1 next year, and so for most MSPs, what we'll tell them is, hey, just jump into all this. So we're pumping stuff out left and right, and it doesn't cost an MSP a thing, right? So I also tell them, go join our mailing list is the best thing to do. We're constantly producing really cool thought leadership stuff on a weekly basis. Alex and Kyle are famous for how many people have joined into your webinar series now, guys? Like over 1,000?
It was 14 something last time I checked.
Oh my goodness. And I mean, James, that's just what happens when you start. I mean, this, but when you start talking about stuff like MSP profitability, you start talking about onboarding insights, you talk about all these things that are vital to the MSP. That's just free stuff we're doing. So you can get access to all of that right now without paying us a penny. But if you do want to see the platform, you just can't wait, go hit up our Calendly that's on the website.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm up on the site now. Again, it's MSP.com, EMPATH, MSP.com, and you can learn more about that. So I've got another question for you. Little gossip going around. I'm not sure whose brainchild it was. I think this might be yours, Wes, but tell me about rejection.com.
Yeah, rejection. So I just got off a live stream talking about Rejection Con. Really excited about this, right? So here's the idea of Rejection Con is we've all had talks. I've been trying to get into RSA, the biggest cybersecurity conference in the land, for years. I've gotten rejected over and over and over. And unfortunately, it kind of hurts your soul. You're like, man, I had an awesome talk. I know this would have been great. And I hear that from so many people. I was talking to actually Dustin Bolander from Clear Guidance Partners out in Austin, awesome MSP owner out in Austin. And he's like, Wes, he goes, I just got rejected from one of these conferences. I'm like, oh man, me too. And a bunch of other people were a little salty, right? But I get it. No one's mad at the conference producers. You only have so many that you can actually, you can't let every talk in. But it's a shame that some people know they had a great talk that's never going to see the light of day. And I'm pretty passionate about making sure that everybody has a platform. Like we all have a voice, we all have a word, we all have a message. And I think it's predicated on like us four here today, those that do have a platform, it's our requirement to go give them access to our platform, to give them access to our network, to help them grow. Because the greatest lie that's ever been told in this world is there's so many people already talking about stuff. They don't need to hear from me. No, not at all. We do. And so Rejection Con is that. And the coolest thing about Rejection Con is a couple things. One is we're only accepting talks that have been rejected. You actually have to prove to me it's been rejected. I want a rejection letter that comes with it. I'll take an honor system if that's all you got. But that's part of it. But the coolest thing, James, that I'm really excited about is 100% of the conference passes when you pay as an MSP to go, 100% goes to charity. So it goes to 501c3 that's called Rural Tech Fund. It's run by Chris Sanders. He's a friend of mine, so I know them. I vetted them. They're awesome. And what Rural Tech Fund is doing is they're investing in underprivileged school systems in all 50 states and helping them do things like build robotics and build computer labs and invest in STEM, the science, technology, engineering, math. Yep. We complain all the time. Oh, I can't find the talent, right? I can't find the people. Where am I supposed to do that? And yet we don't do anything about it. Well, Rejection Con is that. It's investing into Rural Tech Fund, who then is taking those funds and they're impacting school systems for the better. And, we just talked about life-changing. Like, that's life-changing events. I'm from Kentucky. I know people, all they've ever done is work on a factory floor. All they've ever done is work in a coal mine. Well, let me tell you something. All of a sudden realizing I can do this IT thing, I can do this cyber thing, and now I can go and I can work from home and still live in my rural area, and I can transform my life for the better and my family's life for the better and put them on a new trajectory. And so I'm calling all MSPs. I'm challenging you to come join us in Rejection Con. And I can do that aggressively because I'm not making money when you go sign up, right? Like, what I'm doing is I'm saying we're making the world a better place. So I get really excited about this. I want every MSP to go and sign. It's a pay what you can model. I'm recommending $50 donation. But if you got no dollars, that's fine. We're not leaving anyone out. So rejectioncon.com is how you get in on it. And I want to see everyone there because it's going to be exciting.
I butchered that when I was trying to introduce and bring up the subject. Alex and I talked about that before you guys jumped on, and I was just rolling inside because we've all been there. Updated your speaker bio. You put this whole presentation together. It's like, oh, this I'm going to crush this one. I'm getting this for sure. And then you get rejected.
I have a really mediocre talk that if I got to deliver it a few times, might actually be a good one day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, let me jump over to Kyle. Kyle, hey, tell us a little bit. I know you're still in beta. All right, but if you were to kind of visualize, what would the average customer get from the platform, from the product?
Oh, that's the beautiful part about it, because if there's one demographic in an MSP that sometimes gets ignored a little too much, it's the service manager. It's the guy that's leading the troops into battle. And when you go, hey, what's the onboarding process of your employee look like? Right? They kind of do one of these, it might be in a Word document, might be in this or that. Or I might need to go look in 14, 15, 30 portals to see if my new tier 1 engineer went ahead and took the courses we told him to take. When did you do that? When did you log into all 30 portals, right? The military shows us trust and verify. So the idea is, could we consolidate all of those portals to where a service manager just sees a dashboard with all their engineers taking those, as Alex said, 24 hours a month or a year, right? Did they take their 2 hours this month, or the 12 hours they take in their first 2 weeks of being an employee? They can see all of that learning happening. And then they can go also assign additional courses for those really strong staff members that do want to accelerate their career faster and maybe do some of that work in their off hours. Right. So it's really building a mechanism to where not only does the training get presented in a single portal, but it also gets measured in a single portal. So that's going to be one of the biggest takeaways when you log into the platform, is everyone knows what they need to go watch for the MSP, but also themselves in a career path.
Yep. Yeah, that's amazing. A lot of clients of mine in the mastermind community are all growing, and they're struggling recruiting the right people. And, the way I always built my businesses, I would hire the best qualified people from the industry that you could. But I always had kind of a ground up training program, like a boot camp for the newbies. We hired a lot of young professionals out of college that had maybe really good social skills and other skills they brought to the table, competitiveness, for example, but we wanted to develop them. And I'm so happy that you guys are on the training path, addressing one of the biggest issues that we have in our industries is that true skills gap. And there's so much more than just the technical trainings and so forth. It looks like the platform is pretty robust. You're going to have trainings all across the board, aren't you?
Yeah, this came from just having a conversation with my fiance who's in banking. And she said, when we hire somebody new, they get training, and we go into ADP and we assign them stuff in the solutions that we have. And as we got to talking about it, she says, well, I've got this employee who used to be a teller and now they want to do something else. So we're building them a pathway that gets them into loan management or into some other part of the bank. And I'm sitting here thinking about this, going, in the MSP space, this doesn't exist. And there's absolutely nothing that offers that. So between that and Sean Walsh saying the words talent factory to me one day and saying that MSPs need to become a talent factory to to build and upskill these young people because there's just such a shortage. Those two things just combined to make me say, we've got to build something that helps not just the cybersecurity folks that were Wes's original focus, but the guys who Kyle talks to and the guys who are my audience and the guys and gals who fill all those other jobs at the MSP that sometimes just feel like they have if you go read Reddit, there's a lot of folks out there who just feel like they have a dead end grind when they go to work every day at an MSP. And I think we can fix that. We can change that.
Yeah. Well, and then they leave the MSP channel. All that time as a community we have built to invest in these awesome employees, they go to enterprise.
Well, we got them through the hard part, right? We got them to a point where they could solve a trouble ticket, and then they're out the door.
And we hear all the time, the classic adage, everyone's heard it before. The CFO says, what happens if we pay for all this money and educate them and they leave? And the CEO says, well, what happens if we, pay all this money and get them trained, or don't pay all this money and get them trained and they stay, right? Like we've heard that over and over so much that I butchered it clearly. But, the data does show it. LinkedIn did a study last year and they found that 94% of employees say that they would have stayed at their last organization longer if they had their company had invested in better education for them, right? It costs double the cost to replace somebody because now you're bringing somebody brand new that doesn't have that skill set. So we have to solve both of those at the same time. We have to say, how do we onboard and get everyone rowing in the same direction better? Because we are going to be bringing people in all the time. And let's give them a learning pathway that gives them a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year objective of growth for them so that they're going to stick with us for the long run.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, we're going to run out of time. So I think the contact information, we're going to go ahead and drop in the show notes. For you that want to check it out, go to empathmsp.com. And like Wes had said earlier, there's a Calendly link right there for you guys to go ahead and schedule and get an appointment set up with these guys. But I got to say, guys, I'm almost a little jealous. You got the Three Musketeers, the dream team you guys put together. I love the concept of what you're building out. And looking forward to getting Kernan Consulting and the mastermind communities involved in that as well. So thank you. So any final comments? I know you guys aren't really back out on the road until Q1.
We won't have a product to talk about on the road, but we will certainly be on the road. We'll be at IT Nation. We'll be at a few things between now and then. So we're definitely doing some busy work in the interim to make sure that we keep our faces out there. But all I would say is don't be jealous because we'll be knocking on the door at some Kernan Consulting events and coming out and hanging out with your crew before you know it.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I can't wait to get you guys there. So, hey, thanks again, Kyle, Wes, Alex. Congratulations. You guys got to check these guys out. They are superstars. And again, go to empathmsp.com. All right, gang, we're going to go ahead and sign out on the SMB Community Podcast. Until next time, sayonara.